Well, hello, beautiful YouTubers. Here we are at Milton Artist Guild, and I have things set up. I want to share a few things with you first, and one of them being today, what I am dropping off here are my Boro inspired mug rugs or little coasters. And you can see I embellished this one a little bit with beads here and a little bow. I did freeform stitching, and you can see the Boro building and the different scrap fabrics there. So, each design is different. So they're not all placed in the same manner. So, but they have all the same little fabrics in them. So there's that one that will be on my table. And this is just a beautiful this is real silk actually that this bow is tied with. And this is the little uh, stamp that I had designed right onto the fabric. And this fabric actually is vintage. And I have some of this left, I think, for the village today. And we're going to get into our village very shortly. We're going to be designing um, the houses with the windows, the doors, the chimneys, some steps. So we're going to try our hand at that. So here's another set of excuse me, scrap fabric with the stamp. Just a design there. And the same with this one. This one, I stamped a piece of fabric. I cut it out. I did a little Boro inspired sashiko stitching there. I should say sashiko inspired stitching. So these are all scrap fabrics, and I left the edges to as fringes to be frayed. So that's what we've got there. So I'm going to put these to the side, and I have a few things also I want to share with you to give you an idea of some of the houses I've done in the past. This is one in particular. So this is mixed media. And this one I actually have in my book that's coming out soon. And we're so close to the end of that. And I'm going to talk to you in a few minutes about that. But I really just want to show you this for inspiration. We're going to take a closer look at this today. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about this. So this is something I made well over a year ago, I guess, for an exhibit, as they needed a second piece because the first piece that was similar to this, only it had a cat on it. It sold right away. So we're going to go over that. But first, what I'm going to talk about a little bit is the book. So the book is something that, because I work with scrap fabrics and I love the idea of promoting and working with eco-friendly materials, that book, I want it to be more eco-friendly. And some of the printers don't have the type of paper that's a book paper that goes in a book to that's recycled. So I'm taking a second look at that and how that affects the book. I'm taking a look at how to bind it. I might do self-binding because it's not like I'm going to have 1,000 copies out there. And so I may do self-printing on recycled paper and self-binding. So we're going to see. We're going to do a test with one of the local printers and see what that looks like and see what the price is. Because again, I want it to be sustainable and I want it to be affordable and I want it to be available. So if I'm able to print it out myself because you requested it or someone's looking for it, I can do that. And the other thing is, I was going to throw out to you, some of you out there may have written your own book. It is not going to be going, this one in particular is not going to be going on Amazon or whatnot. This has uh, a number of pictures in it of my own artwork that I'm sharing with you. So um, it won't be on like Amazon or Kindle or any of that. It will be, like I said, on a platform. So the platform might be Shopify, it might be Etsy. So I wanted to hear from people, artists who are out there who have written their own book, where what platform has worked best for you. So with that, we're going to get started. And there's a few things um, I brought that I want to point out to you. We're going to lay the design out first, and then I'll start talking to you from that. So we're going to put this down. And there's a little glare, so I'm not able to see too good here. But I think you're able to see what I'm going to put on this table. So this is the piece that that I initially chose. So you can see it's quite long here. Now, I'm going to be honest, I want to test out some other pieces. However, I really still like the fact that this has the stripes with the yellow, the green, the white. I really like that. So I'm going to put these down here. And maybe we'll turn this way so you can see it. Now you won't be able to see the whole end of it. Okay, we're going to leave it like this. We're going to leave it like this. And oh, and before we begin, also, I want to thank you so much for your comments, for your interest. Oh, I had some suggestions that I wanted to go over with you a little bit. Some people are looking for yo-yo quilts, and they want to know how I make my yo-yo quilts because I don't do the traditional tie on them. And I do give them a backing. So yes, I have written down, and we're definitely going to be doing a yo-yo quilt very soon. And I know a while ago somebody had asked for Boro inspired quilts, so that's definitely on the agenda. And we'll do a Kawandi inspired quilt for sure too. However, we'll be finishing up this village, and with this, we're gonna get more ideas. So we'll put this down. And oh, here is another. This, and I may have shown you this in one of my most recent videos. Actually, but I'm going to show you again today because this one has the windows and the little door. This is a house that I did a long time ago. Very simple sashiko stitching going around the edges. The edges are left raw. And you can see here for the little doorknob, this is twine. That's twine. That's all that is sewn on there. And this is vintage fabric, this is wool, this is denim, and I think this is vintage fabric there. I'm not. So, and this was this is linen, and the fringes left on this are as I got it in the thrift shop. So that's a nice way to make a wall hanging. So, okay, so we're gonna put that to the side. And these are the fabrics that I have brought today. And these can be cut down a little. Um, and these are a little bit bigger because I wanted to test out what I want to do before we do the houses is I kind of want to see what the background might look like with some houses against it. So now this is what I am going to use. These are I'm sorry, these are denim seams. These are scrap seams and they're different sizes. And yeah, and we may cut them down. Now, what we're going to do with these is we're going to test out making some stairs. We'll take a closer look at the other piece that I made a while ago that I showed you in the beginning of the video because I want to point out some detail to you how I made the stairs. So we can make stairs, we can make fences. This can be a stem for a flower, for a tree. This can be edging on the roofs. If you cut them real small, maybe you just use it as a window or door. So, but what I'm going to focus on with these today is the stairs, um, some flowers. I want this to be a stem, so we'll see how that stands out. And we may not get to stitching these pieces to the base today. However, we'll be stitching some of these pieces together and the smaller pieces, or at least do the pinning and design. So see, the designing of a piece, it takes time because you're testing it out, you're trying to figure out is this what I want? Is this the effect or the vibe that I want necessarily? And that's why it takes time. And you may even come back and forth on that. What I have done when I'm not completely totally sure is I will leave the piece. I might leave it for a day or two and I come back and look at it, I might see something that I really want to be part of that, or that vibe is not jumping out at me like I want it to. I feel it's missing something, or I take something out. So that's all part of the creative process. So, with that, we'll continue looking at some pieces I brought. So the houses that I want to kind of put together today too is I want to give them a denim back. Now, if I use a full piece, and I brought my houses here today that we have put together, so they're kind of mixed in the little piles here. Um, and we will come across those, I am sure. So, oh, they might actually be in this pile. But when I use a full piece, let's say like this, we have one of our houses is with this design. When we use a full piece, or I do anyway, is I give it a denim base. Even though I'm putting it on this is my backing. This is my backing or my base to the entire piece. I'm giving it its own base. And that's where I come in very non-traditional. Is if I decide I want to give it a base, I give it a base. And so it might seem like, well, then there's a double base, but it's really not, because what you've done is now you've created either what you might refer to as a Boro inspired patch or a Boro inspired piece. And now you're adding it to the base, because this piece is going to get a backing of its own. And the reason I want, and I'll walk you through that when we get to that point, because I want to be able to put a dowel through the top of it. So when we hang it on the wall, it's that dowel is holding its structure, is giving it structure. So so these are some of the pieces we've got to work with today. We'll just start going through this. I will share my mindset with you and then we'll start testing them out on this piece. This, I was thinking um, of more of the landscape, to be part of the landscape. And you can see why. I mean, we have the natural kind of peaking there that's giving you the sense of mountains, hills, and whatnot right there. You've got here, I kind of, this is what I would term more as an Aztec design. However, again, look, you have kind of pieces. This could be part of the landscape. It can it would make a nice type of a design to be part of a bank, of a river. This could even, this could even represent a river type on the landscape. And then, of course, here's your floral, a little bit of floral there. The same with this. I get the sense of kind of a field or maybe flowers stemming out in a mountain. And these are just outright floral designs. And this again, this conveys, to me anyway, this conveys more of a rippling effect of water. So that's kind of why I pulled those. So we're going to put those to the side because we're going to be testing these out on the piece. And these are this floral design. This is from tightly woven cotton. So far, we have gone through cotton, and this right here is linen. And this is painted actually, and I perceive this to be more of a vintage piece. So here we have flowers right here that we could use, you might say individually, if you don't want to draw a picture, you're not comfortable drawing a picture, maybe you just kind of clip out a few little flowers like that. And this, this is a rainbow, but a river type effect right here. And that's just beautiful. That could be used in the landscape also. I mean, we could even make a just use small piece of it and make a rainbow in the distance. So that's kind of what was triggering me to select that. I have so many fabrics, so many that when I go through them, they're either inspiring me to create a design or I'm trying to fit pieces to a design I might have in my mind. So this is a beautifully 100% cotton table linen. This is something, a piece I have used, and you can see here, this is really nice to use for windows. And you have the little squares already right there for you, just laid out with beautiful colors. So this I really want to use for windows today. And this is a hot pink. This is a beautiful contrasting color. And here we go with the traditional plaid. So again, that's nice for if you're working on windows. And this is one of my favorite pieces right here. Just because when you couple this with other fabrics, well, for example, I know people might think, oh, well, that looks like a bumblebee, but you know what? It's like you can put this almost with anything. You seriously, it's so classic. So that's why I chose that. This is the vintage piece. Cotton, this is vintage. And more floral. So we have flowers if we want to work with, and here's more floral. And this is not cotton. This actually has a polish to it of some kind. It might be kind of a blend. Now the blends, I don't mind using blends because blends are like acrylic polyesters. These are blends, and there's other types of blends. However, the acrylics and the polyesters kind of right up at the top, those have micro plastic fibers in them that end up in landfills. So if we can extend the life of them a little bit, I think that's a marvelous thing to do. So I don't alleviate them or say I'm totally not going to use them. I've done pieces, you'll see in my book upcoming, I have some pieces in there that are all blends. And the life of plastics in general, as I understand it in the sources I have been looking at, they're not 5 years or 10 years, they're 500 years. And yeah, so take a look if you want to learn more about them at the NOAA, the National Oceanography website or government site. But so that's why I use those. This also has a little bit of a blend in there. This is a fat quarter, so that's beautiful cotton. And this is one of my other favorites. This one. Now this is a blend, but look how beautiful that is. That's really beautiful. Beautiful flower. So okay, let's see here. Now we're going to get to our houses that we put together in some of the last videos here. So I want to lay them out so we can start talking and looking more at the designs and adding to them, embellishing them, giving them those little features that make them look like the most adorable little houses on the planet of this earth. Like the stone cottages we were looking at in London. And there's some really cutesy little houses here in Vermont too. Especially if they're older. The newer ones, for lack of a better way to say it, the newer ones, they lack the detail. Let's say they're not going to have carved columns. They're not going to have cupolas on the top of the houses necessarily, or anything that's going to define it with some real deep character of the era, because we're in such a contemporary era. We're in an era where they manufacture houses, so with aluminum. That's kind of what we see. So I'm getting my scissors ready. And I just want to take a look at this one more time with you in a little more detail. I want to talk to you about what I did and what's really in here. So I'm going to put this down. Hopefully you can see. Okay. These stairs, if you look at the stairs, they're denim seams. I have to put this up so I can actually make sure you're seeing what I'm seeing. Okay. So they are denim seams. They are cut in different lengths. So you get a sense of a depth. You get the effect of depth. Remember in the last video I was talking to you, I'd like to get a little bit better at depth and angles and the contrast. So the things that make a difference with depth and angles and creating an illusion of the piece that you're working with from far to near is smaller to larger. Where you have here, you see the top step. Sorry, the top step is smaller, and then as it's going down, it's getting larger. So we're coming up to the door. Now, I did all different types of sashiko stitches here. I did X's. Um, and I don't know if you can tell, but this piece is largely painted. I painted over my sashiko stitching and my scrap fabrics. Now the door has this is just a little metal latch that's actually sewn on to be the door knob. Okay, so this gives you a sense of some detail and recycled fabrics that you can use to create your art. And these are the windows here. I did a little chain stitch around the edging of the windows. So, and those are fabrics that are sewn onto another piece of fabric. So, they're not, and then they are painted. You can see the ripple effect of the sashiko stitching here in the piece, and that is very normal. If you're trying to, let's say, iron out these come naturally with your stitches. That ripple effect, you will see that in many, you'll see that in authentic Boro pieces. So this is a Boro inspired, and you see it. Let's see, what else might I point out here? The bottom part here are all hearts. So there's a Western applique that I created with a Western mindset of all hearts. And then I just layered the hearts one on the next. And the Boro inspired comes in with me doing some sashiko stitching on each heart. The mixed media comes in as you see me painting. I painted each piece there. This entire piece is painted, but look at the backing is not painted, and the backing is back-to-back mending for the hem there. So that's what that looks like. And there's my signature, and that's on scrap fabric. So here you can put the dowel through. So how you design your piece, you can make it very easy for it to be a wall hanging. So let's see something else in here. Those are the main things I wanted to share with you because those are the main parts that we're going to focus on next. So I'm going to put this to the side. And let's see here. These are some pieces. These are still WIP or work in process. Okay. So I'm going to put these, I might put some of these over to the side if I feel I don't really want it on here today. These I pulled out because I wanted to give you, I had designed this. These are some Boro inspired pieces I'm working on, but the reason I pulled them and put them in the bag to share with you today is that as I was thinking of the landscape, these give me a sense. This is the part of the creative process. It's like instead of putting it to the side because yes, I'm going to make a coin bag out of this, I pulled it, and today I wanted to be part of this project in the way that it's inspiring me, where because this is reminding me of maybe rocks and some floral, roses on some rocks, and that's just kind of the vision that I get kind of when I'm looking at that. So because that's giving me an idea, even though it's something I created when I created this, when I created it, I will tell you very honestly, I wasn't thinking of rocks or landscape. I was thinking, wow, I just love the way these flow. I mean, these flow beautifully together, and the edges are raw. These are ripped. I ripped these pieces from larger pieces of fabric. And when I can see right now when I do sashiko stitching on these, it's going to be adorable. And but I see this also maybe as part of a landscape. And it's the same here. This is silk screen, by the way, on linen. And this is adorable. So this is another coin bag that I'm working on. I just laid out the design. But this also could be it gives me a minimalist feel. And so this is something that I could add like flowers to this piece. This is kind of the type of flower maybe I'd like to add. I don't have a lot of this fabric, unfortunately. Again, this is thrift shop. I get fat quarters sometimes at the thrift shop, a lot of times at the thrift shop. They just end up there. Um, and that's something else that um, people wonder, well, is the bargain bin in the store considered eco-friendly or recycled? That bin is maybe heading it at some point in its life, if it doesn't go away, it's going to head into the landfill. The same with manufacturers who, clothing manufacturer that's near you, they probably are throwing away some waste fabrics. So, maybe you could offer to take some off their hands. And yeah, so there's a lot of places you can get your fabrics. There's another. So with that, here's this pile. This is the pile we're working off of. This is another work in process. This actually is one that we were working on last week. So maybe if we get to this, we can continue that. We can continue that. So I'm going to put that right over here. That was, here, let me elaborate a little bit on that. This was the Kawandi piece we were working on. This came beautifully, this design ended up beautifully centered right smack in the middle of the piece. Here it is. So, yeah. And I was bringing you this far, and because I have many projects I am toggling back and forth on, so maybe we'll end up doing this one, finishing that together. I would like to know where you're at on your project with your Kawandi, how you're doing. I know some people have asked to do if we could do a Kawandi quilt, and we absolutely can. I haven't done one in a while, a big quilt, so we'll do that. So we're gonna put this one over to the side, and now we're gonna come to some of the houses that we did together. We did this one together. That's the base of the house there. I don't know if I like that roof. I know we made it, but I may end up switching it out. Here's another bottom part of the house. This one I absolutely love. So we'll work with that. And these right here, I really, really, really want to start with this house. So I'm going to put our Boro and Kawandi houses to the side and put this one down. The first thing I want to do with this house, I'm going to put a few more here. We're going to make a few more. I love this combo. It's just seriously, I could paint a house like that. So this I had put this combo together and I love it. So I want that to be a little house in the village. And I want this right here to be a house also. I want this to be a house in the village too. Right there. This now you can get as creative as you want with your roofs. You can make them like we were using that word kind of wacky, whimsical, and they were in the description in one of the stone cottages, they were using the word wonky. I mean, it's okay. You can totally use these words, and you can totally make those. This totally, if I wanted to, I could leave that just like that. That can be an abstract. It can be maybe we're being influenced by Cubanism a little bit. I mean, you can use whatever styles you want. If you want to stay traditional with a traditional roof like that, you certainly can. But for the sake of I'm still kind of exploring what these houses, what I want them to look like. What I am going to do is cut that down a tiny bit and make that a roof. Or I'm going to test out just some fabrics. Oh, look at this. This is naturally, I cut this using, this is scrap fabric, and look at that. It comes out kind of as an obscure type of house with a chimney. That's a little different. Um, Now the other thing we could do is stacking. Like this really is what I reference as stacking fabric pieces and Boro building. So we can actually stack that like that. We can play around with it a little bit, and maybe it's a side building. Maybe it's a side building like that. What another part of the house. And then we give the house as a whole a roof. So this is so adorable that I'm going to cut this into a roof. And we can actually, before we do that, we have some other pieces here that we can test just for the heck of it. This is cute too. But we'll cut this into a roof. And then we're going to play around. We'll put these houses to the side because we know what houses now we're going to work with. We'll put them to the side and then we'll work on the landscape. Hi, how are you? That's good. Huh, good. I'm talking to the computer. We're working on a piece like this. It's going to be a Boro inspired houses that are sashiko stitched. Yeah. Or I should show you like this. Like this.
Oh, yes, yeah. I'm with you. Yes, lovely.
Thank you. Do you go on YouTube at all? You can see me teaching on there if you'd like.
Yeah, thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So, if you have any questions, let me know.
Yeah, of course.
I'm happy to answer.
Oh,
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, so we have put together this little house like that. It's just really cute. So, so now we're going to play around with the landscape a little bit. And these definitely are the houses I want to give some designs to. And we're kind of jumping around a little bit only because I'm getting a few ideas and I don't want to lose them. So we're going to just put this house. So we've got this house and this house, this house, and we got to make a little roof for this one. And then we're going to come back and we're going to do doors, windows, and steps. We're going to do some steps. That's too small there. So I took that tiny little piece off. This is kind of a wonky. Look at this is kind of a wonky. All I did was take one piece off of this and I kind of got a house effect. This roof is kind of big for the little house, but personally, I love that. I think that's just adorable. So, I really do. I think that's really adorable. And plus, I'm using a piece of scrap fabric that I'm going to be honest, I'm not crazy about this piece of fabric. So, when I go with it now. So, we're going to put these over here because now I've got just a little bit of a sense. So I'm sharing just the tip of the iceberg because I mean I could bring you with me for 8 hours straight on this creative process, but I want to share with you a bit how I'm thinking. So I'm looking at getting the houses together. So this is some houses. Oh, and I wanted to share this with you. This is um another example of stacking a Boro sashiko patch. So now let's take a look at the landscape and see if we can do anything at all with it. Because I mean, we could leave it more with these stripes here. But we're going to see. Now, the other thing I wanted to share with you today, I get these thoughts as we go through the week on what I'm going to share with you. But this piece has dragonflies in it. So let's say you want to add dragonflies. You can work off of the prints of your pieces here and you can make it your own. Hi, how are you today? That's good. I'm doing a little demo here on how I make these pieces. This is a village we're working with in Boro. It's called Boro Sashiko inspired or Kawandi inspired, whatever I'm working on, visible stitching. And it's all scrap fabrics.
Right.
So because that is so important, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's like 92 million pounds of textiles in the landfills and the ocean is getting worse too.
Yeah.
But that's why I work with the scrap fabrics.
Yeah.
Trying to figure out what
nice. It gives a nice
it gives
collage.
yeah, it gives them life. It's like I wouldn't go in the store and buy this one and this one. There's no way. I wouldn't do it.
Right.
But I'm in the thrift shop and I'm like, okay, there's a bag of scrap. I'm getting those.
Right.
And this is all scrap fabric. This is a an art piece I did about a year and a half ago for an exhibit. The other piece I did like this sold the first night of the exhibit, so they needed a replacement. And I remember I was working like 24 hours straight trying to get this done. I may have given it a bit too much paint on that one. But yeah, so if you want a card, I have a card. You can visit me.
All right.
Are you an artisan?
Nope. I have a friend that has her stuff displayed here, so that's why.
She has her stuff. Oh,
Yeah.
awesome. Beautiful. Well, welcome. Yeah. You have a nice weekend.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, so as I'm in my demo here, um I explain kind of what I'm doing because people they see this kind of, all these fabrics all over the place. So this gives them some orientation as to what's happening here. So this was another piece, by the way, when I was thinking of the landscape, because these are all earth tones. This is actually the beginning of a hat. I was kind of testing out and playing around with some designs. So I was thinking of the earth tones. So we got that. So we're going to put these to the side over here. And yeah, I'll put those over there. And we're going to test out what some of these might look like on the piece and then test some of the houses before we get too detailed with the houses. And we will do that today, but this, and there's, it doesn't matter the order that you go. Oh, I'm talking so loud. They have a fan here. When it shuts off, I'm talking like really loud, so I apologize about that. But it doesn't matter the order that you design your pieces in. If you're inclined in the middle of designing a house and you're like, well, I want to see what's going on with the landscape with this, I've got this idea in my mind, go for it. So this is by Lorraine. Okay, so this piece, I have to tell you too, it's chilly in Vermont today, and I heard it's going to be chillier tomorrow. We were lucky to get a few nice days. Okay, so this, I'm going to be honest, I love the look of this. I love it. I'm just kind of looking at it from this perspective. I'll put this down. I'm looking at it from the perspective of this kind of running water, beady kind of design against the yellow, against the bright green. It's just adorable. So, I like that. Um, here's kind of the this is like one of my favorite designs right now in my stash. I kind of like that. Now, I don't like that against this. I mean, it does nothing. But if you put this piece against, right, the classical kind of flowy beads here, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. So I'm gonna put this to the side for a moment, as I know I like that and that. Here's another piece like that. So I know I like that. And here's your classical checkered black and white. This is a medium woven cotton. This is not tightly and it's not loose, but this is very nice for the needle to go through. That's just beautiful. This is a blend, this yellow piece. But I like the checkers, so we're gonna put this over to the side. And here's a flower. I'm kind of looking at this near the lemons. I'm loving that. And this is more of an earth tone. You kind of sit in this again, linen. These are both linen. And this is the piece we were talking about earlier that could be water, mountains, kind of like that. So this is what I'm going to do. I just got a few pieces out here. And I want to get some green. I want to get some green. Now I'm not going to do a Boro building and cover this piece. Now, with that said, by the time I'm done, maybe I do end up covering these. I'm not sure. But we're gonna see what happens here. Here's some Dragonflies. So this green, look at that green. It's making the yellow and green up here jump out. It's just precious. That's precious. So, maybe I'm feeling like maybe I'm going to do patches of, maybe some patches of Boro of earth tones, just kind of getting an effect that I want. Now, I love this dragonfly, but I'm not liking it when I put it here. But look at this. See how beautiful that is? That's beautiful. It's beautiful. And it's the same type of coloring of the base. It's actually bringing the base out. Usually, maybe you want a different color and to make the base jump or make whatever it is you're working on jump out. But so we're going to put that down. Now, as I was giving you ideas about detail, we have a bird here. This is my bird that I drew of my bird series of Vermont birds. And I have to share this with you because it's so much on my mind. So it was about 30 years ago. I actually did, this is a bird from my cards, but I actually did a coloring book of Vermont birds. So I still have my coloring book, and it was self-binded. I didn't have an ISBN like I have with this one with the art book. However, I have pulled out my coloring book, and I believe I'll be self-publishing that also because I love the birds I did in it, and I think you'll have a lot of fun with that. But anyway, this is from one of my cards that I made. So we're going to dress this bird up a little bit today also. So here's some of the stamps of flowers. I got these stamps at the thrift shop, and it's like a beautiful stamp. So that can be kind of maybe placed in or around, or maybe we put it in front of a house. So we're going to keep that here. Let's see, it kind of like this floral design is on a very pale reddish vintage piece of fabric. It's thin. This is very thin, but I may consider it anyway. This is a little bit, has a little more weight to it, the fabric that this one is on. And this is a nice cotton. This is a nice weight. So yeah, I mean your fabrics are different weights. And now what I want to do, I'm going to take this apart because I'm going to tell you this particular hat at this point, um, I'm not making. I don't want to make this particular hat. I want to use these fabrics for this piece today. And I'm just playing around. I'm going to be honest, I don't like this on the piece. Let's put some houses against it and really test that out. I mean, I could tell already I don't like that. Now, do I like it against this? Yes. Actually, this house I'm not crazy about. Let's take some of our houses that I'm gonna, first of all, take this off. I'm gonna take this off for the moment. I may come back with this later on just a smaller, if I made a smaller kind of ripped piece, like a little river maybe coming through. I'm not sure, but for me, I'm not crazy about it. in the context from which I'm trying to figure out I might want it in. I love this. You know, when you get a piece in the creative process, when you get a piece and you take it and you just automatically put it somewhere and you love it and it just looks adorable, just leave it. That's what I do. So, put this back down. So I kind of get the feel that these are kind of like rocks, that these can kind of be like rocks. This can kind of be part of the terrain right here. Okay, now we're going to place our houses. Now I know I'm taking a little while to get to the design of the houses, but for me, for my perspective, the reason is because all together, these background pieces that I'm doing are going to make a difference on the detail of the house. Um, I'm loving this right here. That just flows beautifully right there. So I'm going to leave that little house there. And I love the way that house looks so much with that. And um, let's see here. I love it with that too. This is very nice. I kind of want these colors that are popping out to stand out. So this house that let me put this up here. I want the houses to be at different levels. So I'm going to bring this down. I'm going to bring that down like that. Actually, I may move this down a little farther. Okay. Now this has a door. This has a chimney. Put this one. This kind of blends a little too much with that, but this might go beautifully over here. And this is a little bit of the this is the tiny little house here. So, okay, what we're gonna do is bring one of these houses that we completed also, because I want one of these definitely to be in our scenario. Now, see, that green blends with that green pretty much. Um, let's see here. Okay, so we got some background music. I don't know if you can hear it. Hopefully it's okay on YouTube. Okay. Let's see what this one looks like here. That actually looks a little bit better against that green. And this one might look better. Well, we know we're going to have houses in the forefront here. So, but first let's design. Let's actually design some of our houses. So let me look at the time. Let's see what time it is, see if we're getting time for a break. And it's about 11:30. So we're going to start designing the houses and then we'll take a break and come back. We'll be getting into the nitty gritty, but let's start anyway here. Okay. So here, This is a stack piece there. I like that, so I definitely want to keep that as part of definitely as part of our design at some point in the fabric here. Okay, so here, this design is just adorable. This design I really love, and it pops. So let's actually first build our stairs that we're talking about. And I think I want to build it with this house. And this house, basically, I'm going to be giving a base of denim. This is going to have a base of denim. So, and I'll be cutting that out. I'm just going to put that there for the moment. So I should actually cut this. Okay, so I am going to put this back here. Okay. So to build our stairs, we are using our denim strips. Get this, I don't know if you can see that. Put it down like that. There we go. I'm going to bring this back here a little bit. So we're going to start at the top of the stair. And first I'm going to lay these out and figure out, I'm going to make the top stairs smaller. Now I have this much room to work with, and maybe I want the stairs to be winding. Maybe I want them to go this way. So, laying, actually, I want the first one to be a little smaller. Okay, so we're going to actually even make this smaller. I kind of work backwards a little bit. But here we go. Yeah, I like that. Now we're going to start making them wider, just a tiny bit. I mean, it depends really on what you want. Like we can actually just stop that right there, or we can make it a little bit. Let's make that a little bit longer there. Okay. So there are our stairs. Now, if you want to make them winding, you can start going like this on an angle. And then you just continue. I'm just going to show you if you wanted to do that. Okay. And you're just turning them as you go. But what we're going to do here, just because I like the look of it like this, and it just gives it a little bit more depth. And then we're going to give it, not here today because I'm at the Milton Artist Guild, but we will give it some paint when we get a little closer into detailing everything. But let's see if I can turn this so you can get a really good look at it. The things are going to move over here. Actually, what we're going to do is pin some of these because I really like where these are at. These are adorable. And I most likely will be leaving these where they are at. So except for this one. I won't be leaving that one. I'm going to move that one now. And in this house. So I'm going to turn so you can see the stairs. Okay, we're just going to focus on this one for a little while. And experiment a little bit with the design. Okay, so we want to give it some windows and maybe some windows up on the roof. Maybe we want to put some posts and flowers out here. So the size of the seams make a difference in the effect. They make a difference in the depth. They make a difference in the design overall, whether it's, for example, let's see here, see if I can show you a little bit with the flowers. Here, let's get some flowers. These are adorable. I really, really like these. I think these will go very nice with kind of a vintage vibe that we're getting here. We're creating a little bit of a vintage vibe. And let's see where we're at. Okay. And I think you can chat with me if there's something you can't see or it's blurry or you can't hear or something's going on. Let me know. Um, or you have questions, all of that. I'm happy to answer. So I'm just going to test this flower out with a seam, a denim seam. And I just want to see what that looks like. And that's what a lot of this is. It's testing. It's like, and see here, even on the waistband, you have these seams that you can use. And look how little they are. They're perfect. If you want to use them, let's say you want to, on one of my art pieces, I had used little ones like this for a little post for a birdhouse. You can use longer ones. So we're going to test that out in a minute. But let's get a flower. And I'm just cutting around the design a little bit to emphasize it. And you don't have to. It's like you don't even have to do that if you want to make it obscure, you want to make it kind of like an abstract type design, or you just want to make it a circle. We're going to test that out a few different ways to show you what I mean. Just kind of working with what's left there. I'm just going to just kind of use that like that, really. And all these scraps that I'm getting, I can keep for my crazy quilting. So you can take this flower. Let's just see what it looks like against the house. A little too busy, isn't it? It's a little too busy. If we move it over here, see here. And we're working in real time here. So When, as you know, as an artist, when you work in the creative process, you don't realize, like, you're not analyzing yourself, how much you're back and forth, or if you're talking to yourself. That's why talking with you today is so great, but it's keeping me in the moment. It's keeping me very consciously trying to figure out, well, what am I doing here as I'm explaining it to you? But I know that inherently, when I look at something and I love it and it pops, that's it for me. So let's see here. Now, so we've got that kind of flower, and then we've got this. I don't like that, and I don't like this. So I don't like those. It doesn't mean I'm not going to use them in something. I could use these in Boro. I could use these in Kawandi inspired projects. Those are going to be used, but maybe not in this project today. Um, I kind of want to jump back over here and think about maybe a little fence I want to put up here, maybe coming along this way. I put up a little fence. Let's see. So I'm grabbing all my scrap seams right here. I'm just going to test some of these out. So I know we're doing that, designing the houses, but we're kind of jumping back and forth. What's going around these houses? Now look at this. This seriously is not what I was thinking, but I am now because this can be a little garden. Look how adorable. And if we can get the right flowers in this garden, this one I'm going to make because I really want to use seams here. And this you can use to emphasize. You can use this to emphasize or cut a piece of it out and use it as a little doorknob. There's different things we can do with every single piece of scrap we have. This, I like this side better. Uh, Look how cute that is. So these are how gardens are. They are not perfectly cut, unless you're doing a perfectly cut type of garden. This is kind of giving you the effect that this garden, and now we see more of our houses, that this garden is uneven. And what I'd like to be able to put here are flowers that maybe we could even turn the stem down a little bit like that. So, okay, so we essentially have a garden growing right here. So we're gonna leave that like that for the moment. And then we're gonna come over to this house. And I want this house to have some windows. So this door is specifically from that plaid table linen that I was showing you. So that kind of is a darker color that might jump out on this and kind of go good with this vintage vibe type of this fabric is actually vintage. This is old. So I mean we could use this for houses, for that house, but I kind of don't like that house. So let's see, I'm looking for that specific. Did everything fall? Nope, this didn't fall. Okay. Here it is over here. Yeah. And and the reason I test out these fabrics is you think in your mind's eye that, oh, I know what that's going to look like and it's not going to go or it is going to go. You test it out and it doesn't look like you thought. And that's kind of why I test these out like that. Okay. So this house, we're going to put a couple of windows. I really like this purple. And the purple kind of jumps out with that vintage. And so we are going to see what this looks like. For a house, that looks really cute. I really, really like that. So we're going to stay with the same size. We're going to stay with a little bit of traditional design just to get us oriented because we can always mess around with these a little bit later. We can make the houses a little wonkier, however we want. That's really cute. Those kind of blend a little. I mean, this has blue and magenta, and there's blue and magenta right there. So that's really cute. Um, Maybe it blends too much. I'm not sure. I really like this patch here. I'm not sure where that's going. Um, but I like those right there. Now up here we need to maybe we give it a little cupola of some kind, but I don't know what kind right now. Um, and it doesn't have to be, oh, here's this house too. Not crazy about that house, but we're gonna leave that there. Leave that house there. And let's see if we can put a window up in the attic and see how this jumps out. I don't like that. I don't like it. So I keep my scrap fabrics. This might pop. That kind of pops, but I don't like that either. Let's see. Oh, this might go really cutesy. This might go really cutesy. Now, because it's up in the attic, okay, we can put oh, that's cute. Now that's a little obscure, but right now I really like that. Now there's our chimney, and the chimney is a little, I'm gonna put a little, we got this tiny little piece here. That's blue. I'm gonna put a little something that makes that chimney pop a little bit right there, like a little topper to the chimney. If there's such, there are those little toppers that go in the chimneys. So now the thing is, as I'm building the detail of this house, I am thinking to myself, other embellishments. I forgot my ribbons today. I wanted to use ribbons as kind of wavy stems to flowers. So that will get added to this piece. But as I'm looking at this, so, let's look a little bit here. We have some detail. We have our steps, and I had just kind of placed that there, thinking of maybe it could be a little post, like thinking maybe one on this side and one on that side. Actually, I like that over there. Maybe that's another little flower. We'll see. Or maybe this one that kind of comes up to the house. We'll see. Or I cut it down. But what happens here, we end up with kind of a little garden going on. It's just really cute. So we've got, so when we paint, or when I paint, um I may paint in the little crosses that, emphasizing the window panes. I may add a bead or two for the door. I may add beads up here. So you can embellish this and add things that you want to emphasize the piece that you're working on. So with that, what I'm going to do is take a break, get a cup of coffee, a little something to eat, and then I'm going to come back and I'll pin these before I come back, and we're gonna bring this up more on the table to the other side and design a few more of the houses with some more steps, using maybe some different fabrics for the steps. So we'll do that very shortly. And thank you so much for being with me. And we'll see you in a bit. Okay.